All right. Looks like we're live right now, finally. So here we go. Yeah, so I'm gonna be breaking down for you guys today the Travis Scott beat that you guys voted for on my Instagram. Yeah, so I guess we'll start off first with just the melodies here. We've got a pad and pluck and a lead. Yeah, so with this, and just in case you forgot what the beat sounded like all together. Yeah, so that's the beat all together. And what we're gonna do now is go into the melodies, like I was saying before. Um, so first of all, this is an F minor scale. Um, Started with these plucks here. And this really was just an arpeggiated bass line with a simple top line. Um, what I wanted to do with this was basically just so this is F minor, so goes 5, 4, 1 for this scale. So you're just following your 5, 4, or 5, 4, or no, I'm sorry, 5, 4, and then your root note. And that's basically all it is. It's just skipping notes in each of the scales here for the chord, and it's just arpeggiating down, well, extending the bass line for each piece of this. And then the top line, it just kind of is simple. It feeds off of what notes are in what I'm currently arpeggiating, as you can see. So it's like C is the root note, D sharp is the third, and then G right here. And it just follows those three notes. And then as it goes down the line, still just maintaining what notes are actually in the bass chords of that. I think I also, with the other ones, I just stacked the chords. I didn't really do anything too complicated. Yeah, so I mean, it's just really what it is just chords are just following each other on that same pattern. And that like descending way to bring it in kind of gives it a much darker feel, you know. It really like accentuates the darkness of this beat. I really wanted to make a dark Travis Scott beat, so it really fit. I really think it fits the mold, you know. um, then I added this lead here. That in here, and it just and I just played off of like I said, the chords still, because it goes C G A sharp F both times, um, and that just feeds off of the chords we already had. Because it goes C G goes 1 5 A sharp to F, and like thankfully for this one, it's still like F is still a part of it. There's not really a whole lot of movement going on except for this last part with the chords, so it harmonically makes a lot of sense. And then also with the melody, it just feeds into it, so it's not really like anything that's overly complicated. Um, but yeah, it looks that's the melody. So all together, we've got this. Yeah, and for those, I used this Isotope Iris plugin for the pluck. As soon as that opens, I'll show you it, what it kind of looks like. So it's just I think it's just the preset for pads reflections. I think the only thing I did was just trying to, I think I just edited the attack and the release of it. But this is basically all there is to it for that pluck sound to get the sound that you already heard before. Then next we used a preset, just a dark pad from Nexus. Um, and I think it was just a preset that I already had installed. I didn't make any edits to it. And then this Coding Dreamin' lead, just also a Nexus preset that I have. Comes from the Coding Dream XP expansion pack. Yeah, nothing too crazy here with that. Next, let's get into the drums. So all together, including the bass right here, we've got and I mean, really going into that for a little bit more detail. So the main breakdown happens with the hi-hats right here. That's like the main thing that changes to kind of give, even though it's like the same melody, right? It's the same melody throughout most of the song. So the main thing I wanted to do is like, okay, let's have a little switch up with the hi-hats just to make the different parts of the chorus sound a little bit different. So it's not so, oh, this is the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Um, but it's like it starts out with just simple hi-hats, right? I mean, yeah, like nothing crazy. I just added the velocity to kind of give it like a like a little bit more of like a little bit more bounce to it. When you like edit the velocity in this way, it just gives it a little bit more room to bounce around and doesn't sound so stagnant. Then we go into this pattern right here, and it just has a lot more going on. Like you can see, I mean, it's the same too for like 5 bars, 5 bars. But the main thing here, you can see there's like little rolls right here. It's still following that bounce pattern, but I think no, it's the same. It's just still got that pattern to it, but it's really just all different with the different rolls here. Like got nice fun roll here, nice one here, and like really when you're like making your own rolls with like any kind of beat, you want to make sure that it like you can edit the pitch sometimes and make sure that your pitch is like on key with the rest of your song, so it's not sounding so out of place. Uh, with this, I like making the rolls change pitches just because it like really like accentuates, like I said before, the sound. Like you can just say like you can just tell how much more the like roll stands out when it goes up in pitch. It's not just like, oh, here's just another roll like when it sounds like that. And other times I do use the roll like that just to like kind of like, all right, I want to stay right here right now, but I want to make it go crazier. When you want to make it go crazier, that's when you want to pitch it up, pitch it down, do all that fun stuff. So that's enough about those hi-hats. I did the kick, which is just, I mean, it's just pretty simple. Nothing too complicated, but I always like putting this specific one where it goes like here, here and here. I like doing that just because like in a lot of like popular rap songs you see that being like the mainstay. That's the thing that always is there. If you like listen like really carefully, like as you train your ear as a producer, you'll start seeing a lot more of that. Like, oh, I can hear this noise very, very consistently. I should use this in my beats to kind of like get the idea and get like a little bit more inspired. If you're trying to like find your way, you don't really know what you're doing yet. This is the way. This little kick pattern right here, this one that follows that. Like when you look at it on the thing right here, it'll be like this. So it like leads in. It's like from the red to the gray, like that, and it just makes it bounce so much more. And you'll hear it in a lot of songs. So keep that in mind with that little piece right there from me. So going off of the snares here. Yeah, so like the snares, I mean, it's really following the same pattern over and over again, just to give it like this gives it a little bit more bounce than like having it be stagnant all the way out. I didn't really want to leave all of that space in there for the snares just because you have that much space with your snares, it's just like sometimes it seems empty. And like for me, I didn't really want to go crazy with the melody on this one because I want to leave room for the artist. Um, and I have like open hats to kind of like also breathe life into that. So you can see like it's just little sounds that you gotta add here and there, just because like every so often you really want to like make sure that you're filling the gaps, you're filling the space up with what you want to hear. It's like what sounds good to you is always like the best way to go. It's like okay, I hear a lot of empty space here, but you also don't want to overpower it because you gotta remember you're trying to sell this beat. You wanna you really want to make sure that there's a lot of room for the artists to shine and do their thing because this that's really the main thing about beat making is you want to make it so that the artist just buys it and is like, oh, I love this beat, there's so much room for me to do whatever I want to do. And you know that to me is the most important thing you can really do as a producer. And going in with the 808s here, last thing. As you can see, it follows pretty much exactly the same pattern as I was saying before. Um, right here in the Nexus, you can see follows the 808 follows the C A F pattern, and I just kind of layered it with the kicks. I didn't really do anything special. I just layered it with the kicks, and as soon as it was switching bass notes, that's what I did. Um, and this is a good practice. I feel like if you're not trying to have the bass line really shine, like how I talked about in my last video, it was all shine. It was like, okay, I wanted the bass line to just go. I needed the bass line to just be its own thing. Because that's just how it is with the Thundercat Mac Miller beat. It was just like, okay, I really need this to shine and to stand out. I really need this bass line to just be bass line. You know, like it needed it to just slap, hit hard. But this one, I needed it to just rattle a car. I didn't really need the bass to do everything crazy under the sun. And yeah, going into that. That's the whole drum breakdown right there. Um, yeah, so also make sure you have a very killer tag. Get somebody to do it for you, your girlfriend or whatever. Just get them to like do a tag for you like this.
God, it's mixing.
If you want to stand out as a producer, you're like, okay, I hear that tag. It's like, oh shit, here we go. This is a mixing beat. This is this kind of beat. You got to have your own tag that really just shines. Um, yeah, keeping all of that in mind, this is the whole beat together once again. Okay, and I want to get into a little bit of arrangement here too, is like something that I did differently with this beat than I normally do. I cut out the drums here because I feel like, especially like with Travis Scott beats, he like always like accentuates this last little part, like just to like make you realize, okay, the hook is ending now, let's go into the verse. And also when you're building your own like verses and different stuff like that, if you have like a hard time like breaking down, like, okay, I need to like, how do I do this? It's really just taking things out of the beat to make it sound like it's so different. Oh, it's like, okay, we're going into the verse now. It doesn't have everything included with it. Um, I will say like I like usually try to pick if I've got like a lot of instruments like this, like 3 or 4 plus instruments, I try to really you just hone in on let's get rid of one instrument for almost the entire section or for the whole thing entirely, just because maybe that then it's very obvious to, just not have it. It's like, okay, this is where the chorus is, this is where this is, kind of puts it in lines. But like also when you're making your own arrangements, you really want to like right now what's pretty popular right now is leaving 24 bars for a verse, 16 bars for a hook, and then really like unless you're making like a really really long beat, you should follow this kind of pattern for most stuff because most songs are under 3 minutes now anyways. So just doing a verse and a hook usually a good way to go when you're trying to sell a bunch of beats, just because it gives the artist a chance to make something quick, want them to buy more, kind of go from there. For this one, I really wanted to just keep rolling with those hi-hats because I thought those were awesome. Kept going in with the snare. And then I wanted to like build up, like you'll see right here in this part, I really just wanted to build up right into the 808s. So it just goes like it builds up from the hi-hats to adding this kick, and then it brings everything together. And then right here, I just left a little bit of room. I always like doing this. This is one of my personal favorite things to do. It just like signifies, okay, this is the end. Like leave all of this here. Let the artist kind of cook and like make their last line really stand out with having no beat, just melody and their vocals. Whatever they want to do, however they want to lead it in, that I feel like is just killer. Always. It always is just the way you want it to go. Um, yeah, but then I just feed this into the end how I like did before. It's just a repeat of the hook. And then I go in, just do a little nice breakdown so that, it's not just going into fade right after the hook. I like sometimes doing that. Not always. Sometimes it's just like better to just end the song, but not for this one. I wanted to have like a little bit more fun with the bass. I felt like the bass just hits so hard in this one. And it's just really like its own, it just gives that dark energy as you're like leaving the song. It's like, oh yeah, this was a pretty dark song right here. It gives it that nice vibe. And in terms of the 808, I think I just used as I've been like very like predisposed to use the flex now, like that FL Studio just has for free. That's something you can just get. I added like the compression and the saturation to kind of make it my own. Then I went in. I'm not sure if I did it for this one. I think I just EQ'd it just to be a little bit different. I already had compression and saturation, so I didn't really need to do a whole lot of different things with my soft clipper or anything like that. And yeah, it looks like I didn't really do a whole lot of mixing on this one. I usually just throw it into the master track that I have. Um, it looks like I just took a little of the high end uh, off the top of this. Yeah, I think it just like taking the top end off of it just made it a little bit darker. So that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. If there's any questions, I don't see any in the chat, but as we keep doing this thing, I did get a couple of comments on like, okay, I think that the camera is just not in focus, so we fixed that. Camera's definitely in focus now. You can see me. It's all good. Um, but yeah, that's this beat. Make sure if you don't already follow me on Instagram, go ahead and it's gonna be down below. Make sure you follow me because that's how we vote on these. If you like a certain beat and you're on my YouTube and you don't follow me already, make sure you do that just so you can get in on the voting. Then you can see the beat you want to have on here and all that. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. Really appreciate everybody who tuned in, and yeah, peace.